And it was the interesting thing around this time was that WWE was working with Smoky Mountain and the USWA. It was kind of like the precursor to the developmental system, what we see
Right.
today. And you had a hand in training and working with some of the greats in the industry, like The Rock and Kurt Angle and Mark Henry. And look what you were able to do. I mean, you turned them into household names. Uh, what was that experience like?
Well, that was a real cool experience that I got to do. I mean, I was offered the gig as soon as the Body Donna thing was up too, and all Vince told me is you're gonna have to spend a little more time in Stanford. And I said that's great. I'll spend more time in Stanford. So it really was a lot of fun. They set up a ring in the studio in the warehouse over off 120 Hamilton Avenue, I think it was, and we got to train every day. So then I got to go on the road with the guys and put a mask on and work with them in their first matches, and so it was a great experience. It really was. It started out real cool, and then it went back to Louisville and Memphis, Cincinnati, and had various developmental territories that I would get to fly out to every other week and check out and look at and see the talent. So that became a really instrumental part in transitioning into a trainer. And I found that I really enjoyed that a lot.
It's amazing to see the progression of these young men and women and these guys that were able to become superstars today. I mean, working with The Rock, back then, I mean, I know he talks about his early days, his early career, and how he owed, his success to, you and to everyone that was working with him back then. I mean, can you believe, what he was able to do?
Well, yeah, you always knew Rock was going to be a top guy. I mean, you could see that in him. He had everything to be a top guy. I don't think anybody could have said he was going to be the number one star on the planet at one time where everybody would know his name. But he had ambition and he had drive and he had talent, which is the most important part. But without the ambition or drive, that talent doesn't mean a thing. So yeah, it was very cool to see him. Mark Mark Henry. Uh, my God, who else came through? Trying to think. Randy Orton came through, and we had a tryout match with him too in the studio, and it was known he had a great look in the very beginning too, and so it was a cool transition period. It really was.
Yeah, it definitely was. For you, what was the most rewarding part about becoming a trainer?
I think just watching people fulfill their dream, live out their dream, and get hired, get signed. Since the JPWA has been in existence, we've had two people signed, Ivy Nile and Lauren Channing, Stacks.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So they
NXT.
yes. So they started out with the JPWA. So in the last 6 years, we've had two people signed to WWE. We've had numerous people signed to the NWA. And I think as a trainer, that's what you want to see. You want to see your students succeed, live their dream, get signed by a company. AEW's out there. I'm doing some agent work with them right now as well. So uh, everybody still wants to go to WWE, and I don't blame them for that one bit. So when somebody's successful, it makes you proud.
Yeah, and you started that school with Kane, with Glenn Jacobs. What made you want to start your own school?
Well, Glenn was running for uh, the mayor of Knox County, and we were doing campaign stuff. And one day we were having lunch, and I mentioned I was doing a seminar in Atlanta. And the next day we had a campaign event, and he says, "Hey, let me ask you something, man. Why don't have you ever thought about opening a school here?" And I thought, again, no. because it's Knoxville and it's Tennessee, and every place has their independent wrestling horror stories, and Tennessee has them for sure. But he said, "What about you and me? You know, we live in Knoxville. Why don't we start our own school?" And I thought, well, that'd be awesome because Kane has a hell of a name, and I think that that would certainly work. So that's how we started. We just talking over lunch, and decided let's see where it goes. And it's been 6 years now.
6 years, wow! And as you said, you talked about the people that have gone through there, coming out of there. Um, it's amazing to see how you're able to pay it forward to the next generation. Um, Tell me about some of the things that you talk about with your students that really help guide them to the success that they've gotten.
Well, the first thing I tell everybody is the basics and fundamentals never go out of style. And I also tell them there's three kinds of people in this world. There's those who try, and when they don't make it, they say, "At least I tried." Those who give it their best shot, and when they don't make it, they say, "Well, at least I gave it my best shot." And then that third person says, "Whatever it takes." And I truly believe that because I was told my whole life I can never wrestle. It's too small. You'll never make it. And I was continued to be told that my whole life. So it's just a matter of believing in yourself, having confidence, and that's what we tell everybody. You know, there's a great book out there called The Secret. You ever read it?
I've never read it. I've just heard
Okay.
about it now.
It's called The Secret. It's a pretty good book. It's common sense, and a lot of people tell me, oh, it's all BS, but really, if you think about it, it's not. It tells you you can do anything you put your mind to. If you believe it, you can do it, but you've got to put in the work. And I truly believe if anybody wants to be successful, they can. It's just up to them. You got to put in the work. You've got to go after it.